Hello everyone, in this video we are going to learn about the reciprocal graphs. So for this lesson you need to learn how to sketch graphs of reciprocal functions such as y equals to 1 over x, y equals to 1 over x squared, and y equals to minus 1 over x. So roughly we have the graphs of y equals to k over x and y equals to k over x squared, where k is a real constant. And also the reciprocal function have the asymptotes at x equals to 0 and y equals to 0. So what is asymptote? It is a line which the graph approaches but never reaches. Now let us see. So firstly we see y equals to k over x. So if k greater than 0, we have the graph like that. So yx, so here is a one asymptote, there is another one, here asymptote is y equals to 0, and then there is another asymptote as x equals to 0. So if k greater than 0, the curve is in the first and the third quadrant. If k less than 0, asymptote y equals to 0, here is x, here is y, the asymptote x equals to 0, so k less than 0, what we have the asymptote, we have the curve, sorry, let me move the y right here. We have the curve in the second quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So second and fourth quadrant. How about y equals to k over x squared? So firstly, let's see k greater than 0. If k greater than 0, we still have the asymptote that is y equals to 0 and x equal to 0. Y-axis, and here's the x-axis. So k greater than 0, the curve is in the first quadrant and the second quadrant. The first and second quadrant. Now if k less than 0, x-axis and the y-axis, so asymptote is still that y equals to 0 and asymptote that is x equals to 0. If k less than 0, the curve is in the third quadrant and the fourth quadrant. So third and fourth quadrant. Now let us see some exercise. So for the part A, it asks you to sketch on the same diagram. We have two functions, that is 2 over x and 4 over x. So let's do the part A first. For part A, we have to co-integrate x and y. So we see it is a reciprocal. There are the reciprocal functions. So we have the asymptote. Here is y equals to 0, and asymptote that is x equals to 0. Remember that in here we have k that equals to 2 and 4 greater than 0, which means it in the first. So y equals to k over x and k greater than 0. The curve is in the first and the third quadrant. Well, in the first quadrant, for all x greater than 0, we can see that 4 over x greater than 2 over x. So for the graph 4 over x is above the curve of 2 over x. So we can draw that. Let me use another color. So the orange one, we say that this is y equals to 2 over x. And for the purple one, we say that this is y equals to 4 over x. So 4 over x is above 2 over x. And in the third quadrant, for all x less than 0, we can see that 4 over x is less than 2 over x, which means the curve 4 over x below 2 over x. So the orange one and the purple one. Yeah. So we have done the part A question. Now let us move on to the part B question. So part B, we have coordinate grade. So here, x and y similarly. I do not repeat it to see this. Now what we have y equals to k over x, where k is less than 0, which implies the curve is in the second and the fourth quadrant. So in the second quadrant, that is for all x less than 0, we need to compare these two functions. So for the same value, we can see that minus 4 over x greater than minus 2 over x. For example, if x equals to minus 1, so that is 4 greater than 2. In here, which means the curve minus 4 over x is above that of minus 2 over x. Alright, we draw that. The orange one is y equals to minus 2 over x. and the purple one is minus 4 over x. So that is above the curve. So y equals to minus 4 over x. Now let us see in the fourth quadrant what has happened. So in the fourth quadrant, that is for all x greater than 0. When we compare it, we can see that minus 4 over x is less than minus 2 over x. So which means minus 4 over x is below minus 2 over x in the graph. So here is minus 2 over x, and the purple one that is below that. So purple one is something like that. Now we have done the part B question. Let's move on to the part C. So the question asks you to draw the curve 2 over x squared and 4 over x squared. So that is y equals to k over x squared, where k greater than 0. I don't repeat to say that the asymptotes x equals to 0 and y equals to 0. So we have y equals to k over x squared, where k greater than 0, which implies that the curve is in the first and the second quadrant, right? Now, if, let's say, in the first quadrant, for all x greater than 0, we can have 2 over x squared is less than 4 over x squared, right? So these two functions. For example, if we take x equals to 1, we have 2 less than 4. So we use the orange one, 2 over x squared. Y equals 2 over x squared, and the purple one, that is y equals to 4 over x squared. How about in the second quadrant? So in the second quadrant, for all x less than 0, as you can see, x squared is always greater than or equal to 0. So, which means for all x less than 0, 2 over x squared also less than 4 over x squared, as same as x greater than 0. Thus, the curve 2 over x squared is below 4 over x squared. So we have draw that in the second quadrant. The orange line is below the purple line. So that is for the part C question. Now for the part D, what we have minus 2 over x squared and minus 4 over x squared. That is y equals to k over x squared, where k less than 0. Sorry, let's move a little bit. So y equals to k over x squared, k less than 0, implies that the curve is in the third and fourth quadrant. So in the third quadrant, what is the relationship between two functions? And for all x less than 0, we need to compare minus 4 over x squared and minus 2 over x squared. So if x less than 0, we can say that minus 4 over x squared is less than minus 2 over x squared. For example, if x equals to minus 1, what we have minus 4 less than minus 2. So in the third quadrant, minus 4 over x squared is below minus 2 over x squared. Use the orange one to show minus 2 over x squared. So the orange one is y equals to minus 2 over x squared. And the purple one is minus 4 over x squared, that is below the minus 2 over x squared. So y equals to minus 4 over x squared. How about in the fourth quadrant? So for all x greater than 0, similarly, minus 4 over x squared also less than minus 2 over x squared. So we have the orange line is above the purple one. Yeah, that is the answer for the part D. When the question asks you to sketch two reciprocal function, you need to find the relationship between of them. So which curve is above which curve, or maybe which curve is below than another curve. So for this lesson, you need to remember those parts. You can pause the video to make some notes. Thank you for your watching.